you shooting in manual mode but still feel like you're guessing your settings half the time? Or maybe you're getting inconsistent results and you're not really sure why. Switching to full manual is a little bit like diving into a secret swimming hole. It's really exciting, but it's a little bit intimidating at the same time. Now, having worked as a commercial photographer for almost 2 decades, I thought I knew my way around the exposure triangle, but I really had to eat humble pie when I started bird photography because the genre brings some particularly challenging conditions to the table. Today, I'm going to share with you my full process for selecting settings, and I've even got a little bonus freebie for you to take out in the field as a handy reference point. I'm Sonia from Flying Parrot Photography, chasing light, feathers, a little bit of magic. My process begins as soon as I step out of my vehicle, so I don't miss any birds that take me by surprise. I usually shoot mornings when the light is low, so I start with my aperture at the widest setting, which for me is either 4.5 or 5.6 if I'm using my teleconverter. Next, I'll dial my ISO to 2500 and just have a look at my shutter speed. I'm aiming for a speed of about 1/1600th to 1/2000th of a second, which will cover me for those little wrens that are probably going to pop up in my path. If it's particularly dull, I might have to get my ISO up to 4000 or even 5000 to get my shutter speed fast enough. If you're heading to somewhere with wading birds and bigger birds, you'll probably be able to trim your shutter speed down to 1/500th of a second. Especially if you're using a tripod. I tend not to go below 1/800th of a second because I'm shooting handheld and I have to compensate for camera shake, so keep that in mind. I try and think about what birds I'm likely to encounter, and that forms the basis for what shutter speed I need to achieve. There's a link in the description to download all my free resources, including a phone-sized version of this guide that you can take out into the field. So I've got my aperture in the widest open setting, I've adjusted my ISO to get me in the shutter speed range for the types of birds I'm shooting, and I'm ready to raise the camera. As I look through the viewfinder at my subject, I keep my thumb on the shutter speed dial and move it faster or slower to fine-tune exposure and get it right where I want it. Keep in mind I am using a mirrorless camera, which has the big advantage of showing me the changes to exposure through the viewfinder. I can overexpose or underexpose if I want to, and I can see the results before I hit the shutter. With my thumb on that dial, I can change my settings really fast, provided I'm in the right range of shutter speed to begin with. If you're not using mirrorless, I would suggest you try setting exposure compensation to +0.7 and use your light meter to get you in the right spot. Now you might be thinking, well, I'll just use auto ISO or aperture or shutter speed priority and problem solved. But here's the thing, your camera is smart, but it's not that smart. It doesn't know that you might want that bird a little bit underexposed to show off all the detail in the feathers, or that you're happy to sacrifice some of the detail in the background because you really want your subject to pop. Your camera doesn't think creatively. It's really great at crunching numbers and averaging out data, but that's it. When you leave all the decisions up to the camera, you're also handing over some of your creative control. And that's where the magic of shooting on manual really comes in. You might be using one of those modes with excellent results, in which case this video might not be for you. Personally, I was noticing inconsistencies in my image quality, and I was getting frustrated at the lack of control over some finer points, even though it did mean very little effort in adjustments in the field. With a little practice, you'll be amazed at how fast you can learn to change your settings. And yes, you are going to make mistakes. I still fudge it up on a regular basis, but nothing gives me a better understanding of how my camera works than setting everything myself. It gives me a chance to review, reflect, and get it right next time. The biggest challenge is always the light at either end of the day, which is usually the best time from a creative perspective. In low light, shoot at the bottom end of the shutter speed range for your type of bird to improve image quality when shooting at higher ISO. Smash that shutter button a little harder, shooting in bursts, as you will get a higher percentage of soft shots due to the slower speed. Have a look at these two images, both taken at f5.6 and ISO 2500. One is at 1/5000th of a second and the second one at 1/1250th of a second. There's a significant difference in quality. The faster shutter speed has left the image incredibly grainy, even after noise reduction has been applied. I used to think I needed very fast shutter speeds to achieve sharpness, but now I've realised that that compromises image quality, and good technique at lower speeds is the optimum. Here's a prime example. I was shooting under trees when I noticed this kite above me. Although I had plenty of time, I didn't adjust my ISO for the much brighter sky conditions and only adjusted my shutter speed to expose correctly, giving me a very fast shutter speed that wasn't needed for a perched bird. When we zoom in on this image, we can see the quality is very poor. Shooting on manual does give you the ability to optimize for maximum quality. Well, provided you remember to change your settings anyway. There's a really easy workaround for these kinds of scenarios when you suddenly find yourself shooting in dramatically different conditions. Going from shooting a bird on the ground to a bird in flight with much brighter light conditions is a prime example. Many modern cameras give you the option of pre-programming certain buttons, which provides the perfect solution, enabling you to change all three camera settings in a second. For birds in flight, I have my C1 button 2 clicks away, set to ISO 1000, f7.1, shutter speed 1/4000th, with the cross pointer ready to go. I do adjust this seasonally, so it's worth a few minutes going to your favourite location and taking note of what's a good starting point for your specific conditions. Take advantage of these features and program multiple buttons with different scenarios. Once you're familiar with the process of setting up the buttons, it's only a couple of clicks and you'll be able to smoothly transition and be ready for those unexpected birds. It couldn't be easier in the OM1. It's the very first item on the menu, and it's just a matter of adjusting your settings and then pressing the Set button. Don't forget to continually check and tweak your settings as you move around. This is where I often get caught out because I'm not aware of how fast the light has changed. Small tweaks can make a big difference. Staying on top of adjusting your settings and being ready before you even sight a bird is the best way to avoid missed shots. Try and get in the habit of really paying attention to what the light is doing and check your settings when changing direction, moving into or out of a shadowed area, and when clouds roll by. As the light gets brighter, I bump up my shutter speed to match the action, especially for fast-moving birds, so I get more sharp keepers. As the light keeps strengthening, I start dropping my ISO to boost image quality. And I might also nudge my aperture to f7.1. That's a sweet spot for my lens, especially for close-up bird shots. I've created a couple of slides with some notes that you might find useful. You can save them to your phone and refer to them in the field. You don't need to shoot on full manual to get a great shot, but it does give you a deeper understanding of exactly how your camera works with light. And for that reason alone, I think it's worth persevering past the initial frustration. It can only make you a better photographer. Happy birding and talk to you soon.